In lesson 4-9, you are going to learn how to multiply two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers. Today, you will not need your whiteboard. We're going to go directly into the lesson, so you'll need your math journal and a multiplication chart if you're still mastering those facts. Again, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to get a set of flashcards and practice those until they are automatic. Let's go ahead and start on journal page 130. Journal page 130. At the top of the page, it says multiplying two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers. Draw a partitioned rectangle to represent the multiplication problem. Then use partial products multiplication to record your work in a simpler way. So for number 1, we're going to take 20 times 34. That asterisk that you see, that you've seen many times, is the same as multiplying. It's just another symbol. We've done partitioned rectangle as well as partial products. We will do traditional multiplication, so if you're wondering, we will get to that, but just be aware that this will help you understand more complex math algorithms if you understand partial products. So let's go ahead and start with problem number 1. Number 1, 20 times 34. So we're going to go ahead and draw a rectangle. And you want to use as much space as possible so you're not writing too small. So we're going to go ahead and think of 20 as 20, and I'm actually going to have you put plus 0. Sometimes we won't always have a multiple of 10. We're going to think of 34 as 30 plus 4. So when we've talked about expanded notation, this is a great example of why you needed to know that, to know the value of the 2 and the value of the 3. We'll just break them down into extended facts, which we did in lesson 4-1. So 3 times 2 is 6, with 1, 2 zeros behind it. And then, of course, anything times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8, with 1 0 behind it. And 4 times 0 is 0. What you will then do is go ahead and add up all of the squares or the rectangles. So we really just have 600 plus 80. We add that up, and our product when we multiply is 680. Now let's go ahead and rewrite that problem. 34 times 20 in a more traditional way to set up the problem. I'm going to go ahead and start multiplying. Anything times 0 is 0, so I'm actually going to start with the 2. I'm going to take the value of the 2, which is 20, and the value of the 3, which is 30. So you don't have to write this part down unless you really need to, but that's why we've learned extended facts. We're going to go ahead and take 20 times 30, and 20 times 30, or 2 times 3 is 6, with 2 zeros behind it. 20 times 30 is 600. Now I'm going to take the 20, the value of the 2, times the 4. You don't have to write this down, but this is what I'm doing. 20 times 4 is 80. I'm going to add those two numbers up, and guess what? I end up with 680. You may find that one is easier than the other way to do it. Some of you may find partitioned rectangles is so much easier for me to just keep myself organized, and some of you may say that's too much work. I'm going to do partial products. We're going to try another one on page 130 at the bottom. We're going to take 17 times 34. So the first way we're going to do it is partitioned rectangles. I'm going to think of the 30 as 30, or the 34 is 30 plus 4, because when you have a multiple of 10 or a single digit, it becomes really easy to multiply. Then I'm going to think of 17 as 10 plus 7, because it's a whole lot easier to multiply by 10 and then 7 than it is 17 in my head. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and take 30 times 10. 3 times 1 is 3 with 2 zeros behind it. Now I'm going to take the 4 times 10, which is 40. Now I'm going to take 30 times 7. Well, 3 times 7 is 21 with a 0 behind it. 30 times 7 is 210. And lastly, 4 times 7, which is 28. What I'm going to do now is add up all of the boxes. So 300 plus 40 plus 210 plus 28. Go ahead and add those all up. 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7, and 3 plus 2 is 5. The answer is 578. Now what I'm going to do is use partial products. I'm going to write it more traditional, 17 times 34. In parentheses, I'm just going to show you what my thinking is. You don't have to write that down again unless it helps you. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to begin with 4 times 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Now I'm going to take 4 times 1. But remember that value of the 1 is 10, so I'm taking 4 times 10, which is 40. Now I'm going to take the 3, the value of the 3, which is 30, times 7, which is 210. Do you see any of those same numbers over here? And then lastly, I will take the 30 times the 10. Remember, I'm not just taking it times the number, I'm taking it times the value. So the value of the 3 is 30, and the value of the 1 is 10. 30 times 10, well, 3 times 1 is 3 with 2 zeros behind it. 30 times 10 is 300. Notice those are the same numbers up here. You're going to go ahead and 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So what you're basically doing is taking this step, what you're doing right here, you're just cutting out these individual little steps with the boxes. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and try multiplying with just partial products. On page 131, you're going to just be using partial products multiplication. Refer to this example as you solve the multiplication problems on the following screens, but actually yours is going to be the page. They actually begin multiplying with the largest place value. So I will go ahead and do that on the following problems as well. So on number 3, we're going to use partial products multiplication. The first thing that I'm going to do is multiply the value of the 8 and the 7. 80 times 70. Now again, what I put in parentheses is just showing my thinking. You don't have to write that down unless it helps you. Then go ahead and do that. So 80 times 70, well, 8 times 7 is 56 with 2 zeros behind it. Now I'll go ahead and take the 80 times the value of the 3. So in my head, I'm thinking 80 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24 with 1 0 behind it. So 80 times 3 is 240. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 7 times 70 because the value of this top 7 is 70. Again, I'm just showing you my thinking. 7 times 7 is 49 with 1 0 behind it. And lastly, 7 times 3, which is 21. The last step, once every number has been multiplied by each other, you're going to go ahead and add up all the numbers. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1. 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. Carry your 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. And 9 plus 4 is 13. Put down your 3 and carry your 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. The answer is 6,351. We're going to do a whole bunch of these together, so keep with me. Moving on to number 4, continuing on page 131. Again, I'm just going to show you with different colors so you can see what I am doing. I'm going to write number 4 here. I realized that I forgot to screenshot this, so I'm just going to go ahead and write this one in. This one is 44 times 28. Again, we're still on journal page 131, but I'll use my different colors to help you. First thing I'm going to do is take the value of the 2 multiplied by the value of the 4. So that value in 28 is 20 for the 2, and in 44, the value of the first 4 is 40. 2 times 4 is 8 with 2 zeros behind it. Next, I'm going to take the value of the 2 times the value of the 4, 20 times 4. Again, just extended facts, which we did in lesson 4.1. 20 times 4 is 80. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the value of the 8 times the value of the 4. So 8 times 40. Well, 8 times 4 is 32 with 1 0 behind it. 8 times 40 is 320. And then lastly, 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. How are you doing with your math facts? Is that something you need to work on? 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. Plus 3 is 13. Put down your 3 and carry your 1. 1 plus 8 is 9, and 9 plus 3 is 12. The product to 44 times 28 is 1,232. Moving over on your page to number 5, 92 times 89. Well, if I just even think in my head, 92 is closest to 90, 89 is closest to 90, 90 times 90 is 8,100. That's what my answer should be closest to. So I'm going to start by multiplying the 8 times the 9, and the value of the 8 is 80, and the value of the 9 is 90. 8 times 9 is 72 with 2 zeros behind it, 7,200. Now I'm going to take the value of the 8 times the 2. So I have to multiply the 8 by each of those numbers up on the top. So I'm going to take 80 times 2, which is 160. Notice how I'm lining up my numbers carefully so that the 1, because the value of that 1 was 160, so it's not in the thousands place. Now I'm going to multiply the 9 times the other 9. So the value of this 9 is 9. The value of this 9 is 90. 9 times 90 is 810. And lastly, I have to take the 9 times the 2 and those are in the ones place, so it just becomes a basic fact. 9 times 2 is 18. I lined that up really carefully so I can go ahead and add 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 8. 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 8 is 11. Put down your 1 and carry your 1, and 1 plus 7 is 8. The answer is 8,188. And I always try to circle my answer so it easily stands out from the rest of my problem. For number 6, it says Eli solved 28 times 37 like this. He showed his thinking in blue. What mistake did Eli make? I'm going to ask you to pause the video and go ahead and see if you can figure out where that mistake is. I'm going to do the same. The first thing I notice is that on 3 times 20, that value of the 3 is not 3, but it is 30. So if I look, this should really be 30 times 20. So that means that this one's not right either. This one should be 30 times 8. So he did not multiply by 30. He used 3 instead. So you have to be careful that you're taking the value of it. And then it asks me to sketch a partitioned rectangle that could help Eli understand what he did wrong. And this will be the last thing that we do on the video. So remember, he took 28 times 37. So we're going to go ahead and take 28 and think of it as 20 plus 8. And then 37 as 30 plus 7. So let's help Eli with his problem. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. So we take 3 times 2, which is 6, with 2 zeros behind it. 3 times 8 is 24 with 1 0, so 30 times 8 is 240. 7 times 20 is 140, and 7 times 8 is 56. I will then go ahead and add all of those numbers up. And I bet you Eli can see his mistake right now. So we'll go ahead and add that. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. Plus 1, 1,036. Go ahead and look in Schoology and see what your assignment is for today.